you very much. I'm a bit nervous. Such a special honour, I really appreciate it. As a volunteer, you're bordering on embarrassing to be recognised like this when you know there's so many other people that want to do the same as you. that are more than worthy. You don't really take this award on your own at all, ever, because there's always such a big group of people coming together to do things to support each other. So for those that know me, they will know that it's something I'm not particularly comfortable with. I'd much prefer to be at the back organising it rather than standing here saying a speech. Since we're talking about stories of what we said when Jerry rang us, I'll tell you mine. When I finally returned his call after about 3 days, I thought he was hounding me about fate. All I got was Jerry from CES, and I thought, oh, I must be waiting for some paperwork for the fireworks or something. I thought, oh, I'll get back to him shortly. And when I finally did, he was like, oh my goodness, I got on to you. When I realised it was the Docemus Awards, I thought, oh, he must want me to give a reference to somebody. So I was listening to him go through the whole thing before he got to the fact that, oh, and you've been nominated. I'm like, huh? I truly thought I was being told that somebody had been nominated and I was going to give them some information at St Andrews. So that was absolutely a shock. And talk about being kept under wraps, it's so true. I don't generally miss much information that goes on. I usually hear something from someone and I heard not a bit. So that in itself is kind of very big achievement. So thank you, that was a lot. You don't get many surprises, so it's really nice to have one, so thank you. So anyway, I accept this award on behalf of the amazing committee members and volunteers at St Andrews Catholic College, and also all the other volunteers I've ever been involved with throughout my life. People, you learn a lot as you go along from people that have given their life to volunteerism, and it just tries to make you a better person yourself and go forward and give what you can give, with balance in mind at all times. And it's not always that easy to do that when many of us have full-time jobs and are doing lots of other things within our personal life as well. And we come into the school and there's a lot going on, and you go in and out all the time, and half the people in the school think you're an employee because you're there a lot and they just assume that you must be on the staff. And we could do that. No, I have a job, thank you. Yeah, I did want to say one thing that Dr. Solomon quoted Tom Dorman on saying, and that was when I was listening, that it's more than just talking, it's more about doing. And I thought, oh, that really hit me when I heard that, and it's so true. You do find a lot of people that are really happy to sit around and talk about what can be done and what should be done and how it can be done, but the true idea of getting up and actually making it and helping make it happen is where you can take some responsibility for the problem and find solutions. And volunteerism is built on that. I think that you can't be part of a problem and sit and complain about it if you're not prepared to be part of the solution. So I've always felt, and I was taught that by my mum, that you've got to get up and make a difference if you want to have sort of some say in something, if you don't like what you're seeing. And my husband and I have 3 children, and combined there'll be 39 years worth of teaching years at St Andrews. So you've got to get up and make a difference, otherwise you just become somebody who finds fault in things rather than finding what's good about the school. And there's so many good things. Love that school. I should get a commission for the amount of people that I get to involve. Because I am out there hitting the pavement all the time telling people they get sick of hearing me. I think I recruited the Freshwater Faith coordinator children for 2 years' time, so that's a good thing. I was talking to him the other day, so anyway, I better get back to my notes. So I'd like to take this chance to acknowledge my family, because from a personal point of view, the amount of hours you put into a school do come sometimes at the cost of your home life. And my husband's awesome. He's awesome. And he's also very committed to our school too, so I take this on behalf of the 2 of us days, because he loves to give to our school as well. And our kids, who are very, very patient with me. We spend a lot of time at the school, and they're very good, so thank you guys. sorry, I've lost my place, because I started saying something that's actually further down in my speech because it did better before. Sorry. That's right, I wanted to just quickly talk, because Jared did ask me to speak about why you volunteer, and it was actually really timely that he said that in his email about something to put in my speech, because a couple of days ago, a friend of mine actually, her husband, said to me, "Why do you do all that stuff?" He's a parent at our school too, by the way. He said, "I'm glad that you do, but why do you do all that stuff?" You know, because he's kind of seeing me tearing my hair out over the face at the moment. And he said, "I'm glad there are people like you that go ahead and do it," but he said, "I just can't understand it." And I said, "Well, did you grow up in a family who volunteered?" And he said, "Well, not really." He said, "You know, my dad was drinking and my mum was doing other things." And I said, "Well, when you grow up in a family that volunteers, it just becomes a tradition in your family and normal, so it's not actually that out of sync with what you would just automatically do. So I don't think it's something you actually decide to do, it's just in you." And my mum volunteered as a single mother with 2 children. She volunteered and held down a couple of different jobs throughout my entire childhood. And it's only as an adult that I see how much struggle there must have been to maintain that balance for her. At the time, you just take it all for granted, but now I see how difficult that is. And she just taught me that that's what you do. You give to whatever community you're in, whether it's a sporting community or a school or what have you. In her case, she used to go and set up a supper at PWP, as if anybody remembers PWP. It was Parents Without Partners. It's very old-fashioned, but I grew up at Parents Without Partners dances and loved them. Things like that. So you get to meet a lot of people those places too. So yeah, I think when you grow up knowing that volunteering is normal, you naturally just follow that same path, which is why it's so important for us to role model volunteering to our children, so they see that as something that they'll grow up to do in their communities. When we first came to St Andrews, it didn't occur to me not to get involved. It was just, sort of like pointing in the direction of the PNF, right, but there it is, okay, here I am. I remember the president at the time saying to me, "Yeah, well, you're keen now, but we'll see what you're like in 6 months." And I thought, that's a challenge. I'll take that challenge. And here we are. So just in linking that to giving back to the school, we expect a lot from our teachers, to contribute to our children's education. We put, many parents put a lot of pressure on teachers and school officers in what they're giving our children. So in my book, you put back in to invest in that experience and expectation. Volunteering gives vital resources to the school by way of specialist skills, time, fundraising, ideas and energy. And I only wish that more parents could experience the enormous satisfaction that volunteering gives us, stepping up and taking on a task no matter how small. The other added advantage for me has been that when you get to know the inner runnings of a school, when you've never been involved in school until your first child goes to prep, it's kind of a shock. You don't really know what's coming, and it's a whole other institution, and it's become such a big part of your life because there's just so much going on all the time. When you get involved, you actually get to see behind the scenes and see how hard a lot of these people work, and it just gives you an added respect for what's going on in the college, and that's just unbelievably special to be able to share that with people. And then you can then go on and tell other parents that aren't involved, hang on, actually this is what's happening, and did you realise this? And wow, they don't always know the full story. It's easier just to sit back and judge and not actually find out what the facts are. So I want to talk quickly about my inspiration at St Andrews. Mainly, aside from being involved with an amazing bunch of other volunteers who are just really special and have become some of my closest lifelong friends, my main inspiration initially to really keep driving forward and get involved with a lot of the higher level positions like on the board, etc., was the beautiful Loretta Graham. In fact, she was one of the first people I rang on Friday when I was speaking to Jared, just to thank her and to remind her of her incredible strength. Oh my God, sorry. Compassion, energy and devotion she's given to our college, and she's left such an amazing college here for us to go with. Loretta once said to me that I reminded her of a younger version of herself, which is, there's no greater compliment, I don't believe. It's just lovely. So she's always led by example, and she gave of herself in every way she could to our college for the best thing for our children. You don't get much better inspiration than that to help make a difference. So it's wonderful to know now that even though we've said goodbye to Loretta and how difficult that was, we're very fortunate now, incredibly so, to be able to boast another amazing leader of our college. So thank you, Mr. McMaster. You've been such a welcome relief to us that you're so wonderful. Lee is setting his own high standards in quality and expectation amongst staff, students and, of course, us volunteers. Can't put a foot wrong with this guy. So finally, I say thank you to you, Lee, and your leadership team and staff for the support and respect you show to the volunteers at St Andrews. We have an amazing college. It is an honour to be amongst professional, passionate people. I'm pleased to accept this award on behalf of us all and look forward to giving back to our college for many years to come. Although I might take a bit of a break next year after the fete. So one final thing, not to miss ever an opportunity, I'm sure some people would say, I'm going to invite you all to come to our fete on the Friday the 31st of August. We'd love to welcome you all there, and I think it's going to be one of the biggest cake stalls in history, so you don't want to miss that. Thank you very much.